this soil is really nice. It's Miracle Grow, which is not usually a brand of choice by mine. But this is the organic moisture control potting mix with compost already mixed in, which is awfully nice. And I'm finding that these 5-gallon grow bags take about a third of these Next, now's a good time to mix in some of that organic garden tone. And then we'll put a little bit more in there, a little bit more soil, I think, Brady, before we... And you might want to think about making the pot go closer to the soil so you don't have soil all over the place. The less time you have on the shovel, the better, I always find, because then it doesn't spill everywhere. I think you could probably put more in there, bub. Yeah, just put a few more shovelfuls in there. All right, make it nice and smooth. And then you can dig a little hole, a big hole. So we're gonna put it down kind of deep. There you go, push it to the side. Then we'll put some of the tomato tone, put a little handful of the tomato tone in. Might want to put a little bit more than that. It's organic, so it won't burn the roots. Good, okay, and then grab one of our tomatoes that we got. What variety is this? Let's see. What do we have there?
German Johnson.
Ooh, yeah. This is a variety I've never tried before. Let's see what the tag says while you're planting that. Let's see. German Johnson. And let's see what it says. Full sun, spacing. Ooh, big tomato, between 3/4 and 1.5 pounds. Does it say what it's... Oh, it does. Here it is. It says it is 76, that's very specific, 76 to 80 days to maturity, which means from when the flower is produced and pollinated to when the vegetable is ready to be harvested and eaten. It means that takes 76 to 80 days. And this is an indeterminate, which means I'll probably have to find a stake for it, because that means it just keeps growing and growing and growing and continuously produces until the first hard frost. All right, you want to put the tomato tag in there? Here. Yeah. And then you can take that out. All right, we have one more of the little cans of tomatoes to do. You might want to actually pick up the bag, Brady, at the top and kind of make the soil come down to where you're digging a little bit. See if that helps. Yeah, nice. That might be a little easier to get a full shovelful now. Good. Yeah, this potting soil is really nice. It's nice and fluffy, but it doesn't look, to me anyway, I don't see it. It doesn't have the little styrofoam balls in there, which a lot of the potting soils do have, which I hate because I'm not a big fan of styrofoam. I understand why they do it. It keeps things light so the soil doesn't compact, but I really don't like to have styrofoam. You know, environmentally speaking, it's terrible for the environment. So I like this. It's got lots of nice fluffy compost in it. It looks like it has that coil stuff. Let's see what it says. Oh, look, they're scary. our little garden helper. But let's see what it has. It says prevents overwatering. Oh yeah, with yucca and coir, which I don't really know what that is. Oh, cocoa fiber, I guess. And it says made with compost diverted from landfills. That's cool. There you go, buddy. Nice. You probably could fit the rest of that bag in there, bud.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Do you think that maybe the rest of that bag will fit in there? Yeah, a little. Nice. Okay, so my estimating was right. 3 5-gallon grow bags per one of these 50 quart, which I've never seen before, 50 quarts of potting soil. Awesome. Okay, we have that tomato in that little can get popped right in. Good. Nice hole. Nice little bigger hole than that. Good.
So much soil.
I know. And then a little bit of garden tone. Good, and then you can pop that in. And I think the tag fell off on that. I'm going to go and hunt it down and see if we can find it. And then push it down as far as you can go before you fill it in. Push down. Good. And try to make it nice and upright. See how it's kind of leaning? Yeah, push it down now. And then fill that soil all around it. Give it a nice little sprinkle of garden tone around the base of it. And when we water it in, it'll have all that nice, yummy. Good. All right, we can go put that with the others while I see if I can find the tag. Good job. So, garden cat. Everywhere we are. Okay, so why don't you pull it flat. So pull it down so it's flat. And then the next one we have to plant is a little watermelon. I thought I'd just try it. Yeah. So same thing. It's on that white bench with the cymbidium orchids.
Should I open it?
Yeah, go for it. This cat. He likes our neighbor's roof. Julius, what are you doing, you crazy cat? Good, nice straight line. Then you can peel it open. I have seen people who actually do this, Brady. They do this line and then they plant the plants right in there. Like shallow rooted plants, like lettuce, for instance. They just open it up and pop the lettuce right in there in the bag. And they put drainage holes like on the bottom. Well, that's pretty smart. If you don't have the space or the room, why not? Good. So they say 5-gallon grow bags, which I think are probably going to be too small for what we're trying to do, but I saw this idea on one of my other gardening sites where she had a patio and she just plopped her plants in these grow bags and right in the middle of the patio. And I thought, well, that's actually an excellent use of space. We have the same thing. We have a patio that gets full sun for most of the day, and it's just a patio. It doesn't do anything. So why not make it be useful? I did put these on, I don't know what those are called, like the risers. I got risers with casters, and I'll show you those in a minute, but I did that because we are getting our patio redone this summer. It's getting restained and resealed, and I have to be able to move them. I think you could probably put a lot more in there. Nice. I think if I were to buy these again, I would probably get the 10-gallon grow bags for the tomatoes and watermelons. Maybe for like some of the smaller tomato varieties. There's like a patio version. That'll probably be okay, but I have no idea what some of these I got, so. All right, do you see the, yeah, a little bit of, nice. Good, and then dig a little hole. You can mix that in and then dig a little hole. And then do you see our watermelon on the white bench there? What kind of variety is it, Brady?
Sugar baby.
Isn't that a funny name? Let me see the tag.
It looks so small.
Yeah, they are small, I think. Let's see. 73 days to maturity. And it is small because that's what we need in our grow bag. So full sun spacing is really irrelevant for us, but they say 4 to 6 feet. The fruit size is 6 to 12 pounds, and they like to be watered. So I don't have this on a watering system yet. I'll have to figure out how to pull the drip over. And when I say I'll have to figure it out, I mean I have to figure out what to tell my husband to do. Good, there goes our little watermelon. Last one. Now, Brady, before you start shoveling, come look at this tomato that we're going to plant in here. It's not in one of the smaller little cans. Grab that. It's in a quart. So,
It already has a tomato.
yeah, let me see. And what kind of tomato is this? Let's see.
It doesn't have the tag in it.
Yeah, it has a sticker on it. If you rotate the can, there's a white sticker. What does it say?
Vegan.
Let me see.
Ace.
Oh, veg
Veg.
tomato. Ace
55.
55. Yeah, a little bit of shorthand. Vegetable tomato. Yeah, so what you'll have to think about is you're putting the soil in and then keeping and work around this bigger plant. What's kind of nice about when you're putting the soil in the grow bag, the minute you put that first shovelful in, it kind of expanded it. So it's made it easier to put the next shovelful in. And then it kind of pushes the base. That's nice. And then we'll just have to get a broom out here and sweep up our... And you might want to lift up the one side, Brady, so it kind of pulls the soil down to the other side for you. Yeah. There you go. That might be more helpful. And then with any... So that's probably a good start. So go ahead and make that nice and even. Yeah, work in some of that tomato garden tone. Might do another little handful of it. Good. Then pop our Ace 55 in. Kind of nestle it into the soil you have, and then you can put the rest of the soil around it, because this is a bigger plant, a little bit more work to plant. How are the roots looking? Oh, good. You might want to even kind of give it a little squish with your fingers, kind of rough up the roots a little bit. Kind of even feel like tear it up a little bit. You can even, yeah, and a little bit further down on the bottom. Good. There you go. And that'll help the roots kind of settle in and grab hold of the new potting soil better. Good. Now this is what kind of might be a little bit harder now, is when you're shoveling in, you have to be careful so that you don't whack a tomato branch off. You know what you may even want to do, sweetie, is use the can. See and fill that with soil, and then use. And may I suggest that you actually put it? Yes. See, you read my mind. And that way, good. And then you can take that and fill it a little bit more easily around the tomato. You can pull out the grow bag a little bit, or push the plant, pushing the branches away and shaking it in. That might be easier than that shovel. Nice. And this is why I usually have a little... Gabby, get out of my garden, please. Come here. Gabby, can you come out of my garden, please? Come on. Come on. Hello, Gabby girl. Jeez. He's deaf. Oh, you're going to just sit in my garden now. This dog. This is why I usually have a gate around my garden. Here it is. So they can't get in and dig around. She's like, oh, branch is in the way. What do I do? It's okay. Yeah, we'll just get her to come out. All right, keep going. I think we can put a lot more soil around that. And I think this is the last of the 5, right?
Yeah.
Good, okay. Then we can walk over and go see the setup. And then come back and clean up, because soil makes quite a mess. Yeah, you probably could put a couple more scoopfuls in there. While we finish that up, here's just a quick update of the tomatoes that I have going. If you remember from a previous video I shared, these 3 were out on our front patio, and we moved them back here for vacation so I could be on the drip. Look at these guys. They're as tall as my son. Pretty much. We've got some...
Look, there's no tomato.
And a little tomato in there. Yeah, these a little bit slower to go. I think these were some heirlooms.
Oh, there's a big one.
Is there a big one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there it is. Always exciting. All right. You know what I've gotten in the habit of doing is shaking the tomatoes when I go by, because I learned a fun fact. So I go by and I give them a little shake like this. A pretty vigorous shake, because tomatoes are self-pollinating. All they really need to do is have their pollen fall on itself in order to fertilize and grow a tomato. So shaking them helps the pollen do that. Fall and shake and on itself, especially if you're having some trouble getting pollinators in your garden. We have a good amount of bees and hummingbirds, but not back here. And another update on my angel trumpet. I did take these in to my local nursery and ask for help with diagnosis, and they said, yep, spider mites. And I went down and got some insecticidal soap, but really they said water. Getting, spider mites like dry conditions, so if you just water the underside of the leaves really well and make sure it's a nice wet environment, it should help, and so far I see some improvement. So you can see that some of these new leaves are looking better. So I'll just keep up the treatment and they should bounce back. These leaves are too damaged to make a comeback. They'll just fall off, but the new growth is there. Okay, let's go look at our setup. Okay, so here's the patio area that I was talking about, where it gets sun for most of the day. And so what I think I'm going to do is just keep these here in this circle. So now we need to water them in. So you want to go turn on the hose and bring it over, and we'll water them in. And I'll just kind of keep them. So here's the methodology to my madness. I have them on these caster. I think I have an extra one. I just bought them on Amazon. Good. And when you water tomatoes, you want to try and do it from the base so you don't get the leaves wet. Tomatoes don't like wet leaves. But I always say that, and I wonder, well, what do they do when it rains? But give them all, and then because the water was fresh, the soil was fresh out of the bag, it's super dry. So we got to do a good soaking, getting the water all around the base of the plant, but also the rest of the grow bag. Now I think, I've not used these grow bags before, but I think they allow for drainage. And once you start seeing the water puddling up, my rule of thumb is I count to 10, and if it's still shiny with water after the count of 10, that means it still needs more water. If I count to 10 and it's still got that glassy water look, that means you have enough water. Good. So that's probably, I think, good. Let's go to the next one. All right, looks good. Now we just got to go clean up the side yard. You can roll up the hose and I'll finish this out and we'll go clean up. All right. So here we are, our 5 little grow bags, 4 tomatoes and 1 watermelon, with special help from one of my bees. So this looks a little beat up, so I'll give it a little bit more soil. Awesome. I love that kids get excited about helping in the garden. That's so awesome. So here you can see the grow bags do drip from the side and the bottom. So I'm not really concerned about this year because we're getting our pool deck and our patio restained and sealed. So for now, I don't care that it's dripping on here, but I won't do this after we get the patio restained and resealed. I'll have to think about somewhere else to put these. These grow bags are great when you don't have, all the right space. I don't have a whole lot of sun for tomatoes, but I don't want them staining our new concrete. So I'll have to think about where I might move these, where they can still get sun, but they won't ruin our new patio. Maybe outside in the front where I had the previous tomato pots. But there we go, 5 tomato varieties. I love tomatoes, so I'm really hoping these grow. And I've never grown a watermelon, so I thought that would be fun for the kids to see. And it's a vine, so I thought, it'd be cool if it spills out. The consideration on that is that, patio cement does get hot. In our zone, we get triple-digit summers. This pavement is just scorching and radiating heat. And the it's a very real possibility that once we have vines on it, it could burn them. I didn't even think about that. So I do have them on these cool rolling, pretty strong. I think they're plastic. And they have locks on the casters, so you can move them around if you need to and lock them when you don't want them to move. So those are pretty handy, so I can move them around a bit. So we'll see, I might play with this, but for now, I'm taking advantage of a spot on my patio that I never would have used. And it gets, sun, they're happy, and I can move them if I need to pretty easily. And tomatoes are so easy in terms of, they just grow. All tomatoes want to do is grow. They just want to vine and put on, green growth. So we'll just let them go. And, if this turns out not to be the greatest area for them, well, that's all right. I can move them. They're on wheels, right? So that was my 2B helper. I hope you enjoyed watching my sweet boy help me in the garden. That's what I named my garden after, 2Bs. Both my son and my daughter, my twins, names start with B. So I thought that was fun. So I hope you enjoyed watching about our tomato planting. This garden chore is not really a chore, it's fun, isn't it? All right, have a great day.